Baby, if you want the tea on what's really going on with Dr. Contessa and Dr. Scott, you need to head on over to Dr. Contessa's Instagram page. She just posted something, and I think it's going to clear up a whole lot for those of you guys who might be confused, starting for the fact that they have been separated since March. Oh, yes, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. But I wanted to give you guys this before we dive right on in. Now let's hit the intro. Skye Squad, we are back in the building. And we're going to be talking about Married to Medicine Season 8, the reunion part 2, right? Part 2, where Quad is now speaking for Dr. Contessa exclusively, okay? We learned that Dr. Contessa and Dr. Scott have been separated. The papers have been officially filed. We got this article here in that Good Essence magazine. Y'all head on over to Dr. Contessa's page, follow her, send her some love, but also check out this article where she details the exact timeline of the separation, okay, and her plans for the future, okay? So basically, let me give it to you guys in a nutshell. They've been separated since the March, okay, and she was advised by the therapist that she should wait before they make any, long-term, long-lasting moves like divorce or anything like that. Okay. So head on over to Dr. Contessa's page. Check out the article in Essence. It's a very good read. It's not too long. It's just right. Okay. It's just right. I'll place the link in the description down below as well after I get off this live. Now, with that being said, okay, shout out to the chatterization. Let me know where you're watching from, just to, back it up for everybody that's new in the room. Round 2, here we go. Houston is in the building. We got VA, Chi-Town, Aurora, Illinois is back. Cali is back in the building. Bowie, Maryland, I see you. Come on, Chicago, Madison, Wisconsin. Listen, Quad was doing all the speaking last night. Quad knew everything. Quad had all the answers. She was the guru. She was Yoda. Actually, she was Andy because she was asking the questions most of the night. Okay, Andy could have just sat back, but Andy, you're going to have to hand Quad over a piece of that check, okay? Because she was asking all the questions to the group, all right? Who else is in here? Corpus Christi, okay? JD, you're correct. Quad should have just hosted, okay? Come on now. She had all the answers. Now let's get into it. What would you guys rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10? I am going to give it, I'm going to give it a 9.5. I don't know why I'm not giving it a 10. It just didn't feel like a 10 to me. It felt like a 9.5. So that's what I'm going to give it. But I want to know what you guys think. To me, we got some interesting revelations out of this episode. It seems like we got some clarity on a couple of different issues that I have been wondering about. So it was given some of what and most of what I feel like it was supposed to have given. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Lord, Jasmine cried 3 times. You cried about as many times as Dr. Jackie and Dr. Heavenly and Simone and everybody was crying to tears for Dr. Contessa and Scott. Okay. What else we giving it? Got a strong 8 right there. A strong 8. I like that. 9, something was missing on Contessa and Scott. I agree. Okay. I agree. We about to get into it though. Some unanswered questions. We got to talk about it. I got this from Hollister. Okay. It was on sale at the Hollister. Let's see. 9. Okay. Ooh, y'all cried. Wanda, you cried too. Oh Lord, y'all had the eye sweats. Okay. So let's get into it. So we come back from the 2 weeks ago break, okay? I can't believe they made us 2 weeks for this. They made us wait 2 weeks. I had almost forgot what was going on. Anyway, we get back and Quad is telling us, that Dr. Contessa is separated. I don't know why Contessa couldn't tell it, but I guess maybe it came better from Quad, which we find out it really didn't. It didn't sound better coming from Quad later on. Okay. Quad then gives us all the details that they have filed that Dr. Contessa had filed for separation. What we didn't know is at the time is that it was back in March. Okay. It is now July. Okay. When they filmed this, it was April, I believe. So, So by that point in time, when Scott was guessing that it had been a month, it had been maybe 2 months by that point. So, it's interesting. It's interesting. Scott is behind the scenes talking to the guys saying that they talked about it, but she had pulled it back. Now, by pulled it back, does that mean that he felt like she had tore up the document? Okay. What did she do? How did she pull it back? Did she just say, we're not separating no more? What happened? Okay. Anyway, Quad wants the floor again. All the ladies are in tears. The men are like, I know Quad is not talking. Eugene and Scott are not here for Quad doing all the talking for Dr. Contessa. But Curtis is trying to warn them not to get involved with the women's. Okay. Now, Quad is kept. I don't understand why Quad talking for Dr. Contessa either. It didn't make no sense to me. And honestly, everything sounds worse when it's coming from Quad. I mean, for the guys. Before Dr. Scott, it's definitely going to sound bad coming from Quad. It's not going to make no sense. But anyway, he getting upset. So Quad, once again, tells us that Contessa has to do something drastic to get all of Scott's attention and that she's going to be moving forward in some way to figure out what's best for her family. Thank you, Quad. I appreciate you very much. Scott is shocked, and he says that this is a sneak attack. And Cecil agrees, and Scott is ready to bounce. Okay, Scott is in the back. He is collecting his bags. Okay, he is putting the book bag on, and he is headed out the door. He is gone. He collected all his valuables, everything on the table. Got the brush. What else I got? Okay, I got all my stuff with me. Yep. I'm out of peace. Okay, he's about to peace out. Okay, the men convince him. I can't get out this book bag. The men convince him to stay. Okay, they convince him to stay. Quad asked Contessa to be honest about why she went to school. Now, this is some deep stuff right here. Let me pull up a chair. Last season, when Dr. Contessa was going to... I ain't had the props ready. I always just have my book bag right here because I put my laptop in my book bag when I'm going up and down the stairs. So it was just sitting right here, and I just grabbed it. I just be making this stuff up as I go. Anyway, apparently, last season when Dr. Contessa was going to school up into the Tennessee, I think it was Tennessee, we was all like, I mean, for me, I was like, girl, why you leave this man at home with these kids to work on this without leaving him home with a nanny? And Scott, why haven't you gotten a nanny to help you with all of this? Apparently, she was really going to school to give this man some time and to be away from him so she could figure things out. I was like, well, what in the scandal is going on here? Y'all had us mad and all in our feelings. But lo and behold, this was really a test. It was a test to see if, could the marriage survive? Did he need some time? Yada, yada, yada. I'm confused and I feel tricked and bamboozled, okay? Anyway, Contessa says, well, what do you think? And Quad says, well, why is this challenging for you to say? And Contessa, I want to know too, why is it challenging for you to say? Why must Quad be your interpreter in this situation? I don't get it. Contessa says, no matter what men do, they will put it all on you. So basically what I'm hearing from this is that this sounds like more of her sort of saying that she's being manipulated by Scott. But again, Scott is ready to dip. Okay. Curtis wants Scott to put his side out there. Curtis tells him, listen, if you don't get out here and tell your story, Quad is going to tell it for you. Okay. Quad is going to tell your story for you if you don't get out on that stage and tell what you got to say. And now Curtis, in this instance, is right. Curtis has learned some lessons. Curtis has wisened up in his year a little bit. He has wisened up. And so he wants Scott to tell his story. And I definitely agree with that. You better tell your story before Quad tells it. Okay. So Scott is wondering, no, Quad surmises that Contessa was preparing for her future by leaving and going to school up into Tennessee. Okay. Contessa thought that going to school was giving him time to figure things out. Again, I am tricked. We have all been bamboozled. Okay. Scott is wondering what I'm wondering. How does Quad know more about the relationship than he does? Now, Quad as is kept, Scott probably just won't listen in. And Quad was. So that's why she knows more. Because Scott is not really present in this relationship, it seems. Okay, so that's when the men bum rush the stage. Scott confronts Contessa about the separation. Scott doesn't quite understand what all this means because the separation, he feels like if it's official separation, then it's really a divorce. But I got to call BS on that one, Scott, because if you knew that she filed officially in March for a separation, what did you think that meant? I feel like what has happened here now is you are scared that this woman is about to divorce you per Quad, and now you feel like you need to fight for it. You should have been fighting for it all along. I feel like he's been doing these things to her thinking that she would never leave him. And now he sees, oh, she might be serious. She told Quad, okay? Jasmine with the super chat says Quad should be full-time and Greg a friend of the guys. Ooh, that would be something right there. Thank you, Jasmine. Anyway, Scott then Contessa says at this point that she filed 6 months ago. I thought in the article she said that she filed in March. So I'm confused. He confused. It's all confused. He's confused by the timeline. And they both tell us that it was a horrible conversation that they had with the kids about them getting separated. Now, Toya says that what it looks like is Contessa wants to tell the truth, but that Scott doesn't. Toya asked, and Scott's like, oh, yeah, I'm here to tell the truth. Toya says, well, are you being faithful in your marriage? Now, before they go to commercial, he's looking crazy. Speaking of the commercial, I'm going to come right back to this because I'm going in the chronological order of the way that things occurred last night. Speaking of the commercial break, Jackie got another commercial. Houseway, how does this work? I mean, that's some big balling stuff right there. I've said it once again, but Jackie got another commercial. I mean, shout out to her, but it is like, dang. And what, you know what? I never understood why Bravo does not have its own like shopping network. You know, I feel like that's something that they should have. All these ladies got these products and stuff like that. Why aren't y'all making use of it and making bank? Anyway, Victoria says, Richie, I'm sick of both of them at this point. You know what? Me too. Jackie is a boss. Okay. So anyway, when we get back to commercial break, Toya has said, are you being faithful in your marriage? He says, yeah, he is. Simone encourages Scott to make at least one sacrifice for Contessa. And she keeps asking him, well, what is the one thing I have asked you? Scott's like, I don't know. What is it? He's taking guesses. And somebody else has to tell him therapy. It was therapy. She wants you to go to therapy. Why do the other people know what Contessa wants? And you, who are her husband, has no idea. No idea. Okay. Jackie tells them that counseling is the key. Contessa said that divorce comes up a lot and that their fights are toxic, volatile, mean, and vicious. And Scott was real stuck on that volatile word because I think what he was thinking she was implying was that there was some physical aspect to the volatility. And I think he was dead set on correcting that because he did not want to look like he has done anything physically to her. And I hope that he hasn't. And she did not say that. But I'm assuming that's what he thought she was saying when she said volatile, because he was really stuck on that term. Dr. Scott then says, well, I jumped the gun coming out here. Contessa feels like Scott just wants to shut her up. And as he's trying to leave the stage, they convince him to stay so that they can work it out. But she feels like she is being gaslit. And to be honest with you, I feel like she's being gaslit as well. Okay. And I like the two of them together, at least from what I had seen on the show. But the more I listen to what is happening, I am starting to believe that it may be better that they have a very long separation to really figure this thing out, because some things are just not adding up. And I don't feel like we're getting the entire truth in this situation. So Dr. Heavenly says, well, why are there so many rumors about you cheating? He says, well, show me the receipts. Okay. I bet Mariah would have the receipts, because, you know, Mariah got the receipts. Okay. That was a joke. Dr. Heavenly says, oh, so then they get into this thing about him speaking into the phone and saying, hey, Siri, call my girlfriend. And what happens when he tells Siri to call his girlfriend? Siri says, call Tessa Bay. Okay, so apparently that's what it means now. Dr. Heavenly said he changed that, okay? And so Scott then admits, yeah, that's what it said before. Then I deleted it. Then I changed it and put it back. Now, this was all very confusing to me. And if I was him, I would not have even said it, because it didn't make him look no better. Okay, you changing things, you going back and putting it back in. You looks guilty of something. And I don't know what it is, but you looks real guilty of something. And I swear, I feel like there is something that they are not telling us. And I wish they would just go ahead and spill the beans. Anyway, Simone asked if he's responding to the DMs. Scott said, I don't know nothing about these DMs. I don't know about a DM. What's a DM? I don't know how to work a DM. DM who? What is DM? DMX? What is the DM? Okay. What is the DM? I don't know. Okay. That's what Scott is like. And I'm like, man, Scott says that he's only reacting to photos he's getting in the DMs, because, you know, suddenly the light bulb comes on and he knows what the DMs are. Okay. And so when he gets a photo in the DM, you know, and when somebody sent him the naked photo or something like that, I don't know if they're naked or not, but it sounds like they might be naked. So let me just point that out. When he get in the photo, he be like, oh, dang. Oh, So he's commenting and reacting to the DMs that he's getting of the body, yada, 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 yada photos. Okay. So, but he says he really don't know what the DMs are. Now, in my mind, I'm like, Scott, you are a medical professional. I know that you know what the DMs are. Okay. Curtis know what the DMs are, and he's not even on social media. You mean you couldn't ask one of these, your fellas over here, what is a DM? How did I find myself in these private messages on social media wherein someone is sending me nasty photos? How did I arrive here, fellas? So can someone clue me in? I'm like, brother, man, please, let's not play this game, okay? Because we know that you are smarter than that. Contessa feels like they have different ideas of what marriage is, and she's no longer going to concern herself with anything that he's doing. She's just going to be worried about herself, okay? Now, before the break, she asked him, Scott, what the F are you doing? And they exit the stage. Simone doesn't think Scott is willing to make the necessary changes. Dr. Scott says that he thought the wrong thing. Eugene comes over and they're all in the back, and Eugene tries to coach them that hearing someone else like Quad bringing up the separation took Scott by surprise. Okay. Jackie then has a conversation with Contessa after the men leave, and they're all in the back. They're not on stage right now. And she tells Contessa that she has to manifest what she wants in this life. And Contessa's like, well, I've been trying to do that by posting pictures of us on social media. That's what y'all been telling me to do. Okay. I feel as though Dr. Contessa here is not really taking true ownership of her own happiness. And instead, she is choosing the route of being unhappy in order to keep the peace in her home. And she's sort of misdirecting her anger and her volatility at the rest of the ladies when she really just needs to make the best decision for her, whatever that is. And Dr. Heavenly essentially has to tell her, we just want you to be happy, however that looks. Okay. So at that point, Toya escorts. Oh, because here's the other thing. Dr. Contessa keeps saying, I know I don't matter. I just want my kids to be okay. I can't change it. So here is where she is also just giving up her power. She is literally saying, I don't matter. The kids only matter. I can't change anything. Girl, where is Iyanla Vanzant when we need it? Because you have got to begin to work on you, my dear. Okay. And we know that she's in therapy and in counseling. And I think that's the best thing for her because she is too smart, educated, and too strong of a woman to be going through this situation when she doesn't have to. I want them both to be happy. It would have been nice if they can work it out. But if they can't work it out because they're toxic to each other, then it's time to bounce. And then y'all got to do the best by these kids that you can. Okay. So for some reason, Toya needs to take her out to get some Tylenol. And I'm not understanding why. Did she say she had a headache or something? Was she tired of screaming? I don't know. Does crying give you a headache? I have no idea. All I know is Toya was dead set on getting her this Tylenol. And I was thinking, please, God, somebody find that Tylenol for them. Okay. And so then Quad goes to she goes to confront Scott, and she tells Scott, listen, I'm not trying to come at you. I want y'all to win. I want to see y'all happy or whatever. So they hug it out backstage. Toya and Contessa talk about her needing a break until things change. And then it's nice to see them hug it out, especially after they've had such a volatile time these past 2 seasons. Now we're back from commercial yet again, and Simone and Jackie's friendship. Okay. Oh, D says Contessa asked for the Tylenol. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. See, this is why we had these conversations together. Okay. Back from the break, Simone and Jackie's friendship comes up. The segment brings them both to tears. Now, Simone says that they're in a much better place and she doesn't harbor any ill feelings. A viewer question asks if it was the right decision to not invite Dr. Jackie to Simone's son's graduation party. Simone says that it was just close friends. Andy says, and Anila too, because she wasn't your close friend. Okay. So Simone kind of fumbles around a response to legitimize the reason why Anila was there, but it really don't make no sense. We know what it was, passive aggressive. Dr. Heavenly says it's all BS, okay, and that Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie are not as close as they were. Now, I don't think that Simone ever said that they were, but Andy brings up Quad saying that it was BS, that Jackie and Simone's newfound closeness was BS on Watch What Happens Live, and Quad says then that there's something deeper that they're avoiding. So what I'm taking from this is that in order for Dr. Heavenly and Quad to know so much about Dr. Jackie and Simone's friendship is that Dr. Jackie is in some way, shape, or form confiding in Dr. Heavenly and Quad, because we do know that they hang out based on social media. And she's telling them about how maybe she's not spending as much time with Simone as, she would hope maybe. So that's how they know so much. But in that situation, I kind of feel like maybe Dr. Jackie should not be having those conversations if she really truly wants to repair her friendship with Dr. Simone. But she may never be at that same place with Simone again, because what I can tell you is this. When you have had a falling out with a friend and you've hurt that bad, sometimes the friendship never goes back to normal. And it is just all you can do to just be some kind of cool in some kind of new way. Not the same way that you used to be, but in some kind of new way. You know what I'm saying? So that just may be where they are. Anyway, Quad knows, and I wrote in my notes, Quad knows everything and is asking all the questions. Simone basically says that the situation, that she is not fake. and that maybe maybe faking a friendship is something Quad would do for the cameras, but not her. She says, we have deep issues to work through, and we're going to take our relationship expert with us, basically talking about Dr. Heavenly. Now, Jackie says that she wanted Simone to ride for her the way that Dr. Simone rode for Toya. Simone then goes off and says that she came to Jackie because what Jackie is talking about is the situation that she had with Buffy from last season. Okay, she's still not over that. Dr. Simone says that she told Jackie to her face off camera that the way she responded to Buffy was not indicative of the person that she actually is. Now, what we saw on the camera was when she reacted to Buffy and tried and gave that pseudo apology initially, it did not come across very well. So Simone told her that behind the scenes. Now, to me, that's kind of some real G stuff right there to have that conversation. Like, yo, I'm going to tell you how I feel. I'm not going to tell you on camera, but I'm going to tell you how I feel face to face, right? But Jackie wanted Simone to be supportive of her in front of Buffy and everybody else. And Simone seems to get it at that moment somehow. Okay. You know, Buffy keeps coming up on this show. And I mean, you listen, I just feel like, you know, she had a huge impact on this show. And I'm just marveling at that in this moment because I'm like, it's been a whole full another season and y'all are still talking about her. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, y'all might need to cut her a check. Okay. Anyway, Andy asked about Heavenly and Simone, and she's offended because Dr. Heavenly keeps going online and talking about her teeth. Okay. She says she loves her overbite. She ain't changing it. Okay. And Dr. Heavenly, you better stop talking about her overbite. That's what she say. All right. So Quad again wants to know if Simone can be good with Jackie, knowing that Jackie is still friends with Dr. Heavenly. Quad is still asking the questions. Okay. And then she's also asking Simone why she's becoming choked up when talking about Dr. Heavenly. Now, I feel bad for Simone in this moment because she does admit to holding a grudge against Heavenly, and that Heavenly really has been there for her. And Heavenly kind of puts her foot in her mouth a little bit, but it sounds like they're about to get over it. And Simone promises to celebrate Heavenly's birthday with her when they got back to ATL. And she says she's going to bring Jackie with her for support. Now, what I want to know is from Dr. Heavenly, did that ever happen? Dr. Heavenly, did you and Simone ever hang out after the reunion? Did she come to your birthday party? And did she come with Dr. Jackie? That's what I want to know. Somebody tell me that down in the comment section down below. Okay. The men come out and they vow to have Scott's back. They get into Husband 101, and it starts off with Scott having the esthetician's picture in his phone. We get a flashback of him showing the fellas this new esthetician that he was trying to hire and how fine, how glowed up she was. So the question is asked, did Scott break the rules with having the picture in his phone? It sounds to me like he broke a lot of rules, but that's just me, okay? He claims he didn't have it in his phones. He claimed he had it in the DMs. Scott, you in these DMs is... I am over it. Cecil tries to rationalize where the picture came from, but he says it's never okay to have pictures of other women in your phone. Scott, who is a doctor, still doesn't know the whole Instagram thing. He is sticking by the story. And Scott, we are not falling for it. We are not going to be gaslit into believing that you do not have a clue about the Instagram. So please stop saying it. Eugene says the only appropriate response is to block someone when they are, if you are married and they're coming at you in the DMs with some naked foolishness, that's the only proper response, or to not respond, or tell them that you're married and then block them. Okay. Curtis says this, and I quote, Curtis, who is married to Jackie, okay, says, you can't respond. I don't know if you should go so far as to block them right away. Curtis, oh, Curtis. Oh, I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. Jackie, I mean, in the back has to just say, you dummy. But luckily for Curtis, he don't have social media. Let me tell y'all something. I don't trust people. And I know this is wrong. And it probably is going to sound very ignorant. And I admit it as I'm about to say it. But when somebody tells me that they don't have social media in this day and age, I don't believe them. I believe that you have an account that you do some lurking on. That's what I do believe. So that's just my thought. You know, listen, in the past, I have dated somebody that said, oh yeah, I don't have Instagram. I don't have that. But you know everything. And then I had heard that she was always in people's DMs, and there go the DMs again. And so my thought on that is this, and maybe it is my jadedness, but my thought is, I know you be out there lurking. That's how I feel about it. Okay. You say you ain't got social media. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. But that's just me. He may not have it. That's what he say. But in general, when somebody says that, I don't believe them. We got a super chat. Jarrell Rogers, thank you for the super chat. Okay. I mean, that could be true. That could definitely be true, but I don't know. Okay, well, Wanda says I don't have it. Okay. Renee, lies. We don't say old people around here. We say experienced. Okay, that's what we say. We say experienced. I just believe a lot of people have Finsters, like fake Instagram accounts, and then that's how they see stuff. I don't know, but again, I could be jaded based on my own previous experience. Okay, call me jaded. Maybe I need to work on it. I'm going to start seeing the therapist anyway. Okay. Anyway, Andy asked the men, okay, about the life coach situation that Scott has said he didn't. He said he don't have a life coach. But Curtis claims that Scott explained the whole life coach situation in a way that they understood. Cecil even backs this up. How did he explain the life coach situation, you may ask, for those of you guys who haven't seen it yet? Scott says he made up the life coach thing, okay? And that he may have been being a little immature when he told her that he had a life coach. So he made it all up, and he says that he was trying to maybe make it seem like he had started talking to a life coach before she did. Andy asks, is this the story that was supposed to have convinced you that he was telling the truth? Basically saying it don't make no sense. Scott, to me, this is the problem. To me, it sounds like Scott is a little immature, okay? And he even confesses to his own immaturity. But I'm going to take it a step further. It seems as though he is immature in relationships, okay? And I only know him to be in this one, but it just sounds like from everything we have seen him do in this season, that he is a very immature man who does not maybe understand how to really be married, okay? Furthermore, I don't even know that he wants to be married at this point in time, okay? It doesn't sound like it, because whenever she is pleading to try to make things work, he can't seem to be bothered with it. But he can be bothered to lie and tell her stories on camera and make her look crazy by talking about life coach here, a life coach there, here life, there life, everywhere a life coach, and then all of a sudden you don't have one, okay? Which is it? And so now you have told this woman so many stories, she doesn't even know what to believe. So not only are you immature, but you're lying all the time. Why are you lying all the time? What sense does that make? It doesn't make no kind of sense. That's not how you have a productive relationship. And you're lying about dumb stuff. You might be, I don't know if you're lying about the stuff that you need to lie about or what you shouldn't be lying. You shouldn't be lying in general. But if you're going to lie, it should be about something big. You're lying about stupid stuff. It ain't even this stuff that don't even make no sense. Why? It's confusing. It is very confusing. So now you put yourself in a situation that even if you are telling us the truth, we don't believe you. Okay. You cannot continue to cry wolf and ain't no wolf outside. And then we believe you the next time there actually is a wolf outside. We won't know. You're going to be gone. Bye, wolf. ATLian Stan says, sounds like Scott is a narcissistic gaslighter. Call it what it is. Now Contessa is getting paid to finally address it. Bloop. And then we got to talk about Dr. Contessa, okay? And thank you, ATLian Stan. Love you. Dr. Contessa, you're going to have to, I know it's difficult because I think when you get married, it changes the game in terms of how easily you leave a relationship. And then when you have kids and a house, mortgage, businesses together, it really does affect your decisions about how you move in terms of separation and divorce and moving forward in that regard. So I understand, the space that they're in right now, and I respect it. You know what I'm saying? But I also feel like I'm glad that Contessa is going to therapy, because I also feel like she too needs some work on herself. Whether it be past relationship trauma, childhood trauma, or whatever the type of trauma it is that has put her in a space where she feels like she is not in control of her life and that she doesn't matter, that needs to be addressed ASAPidly, okay? Because she, again, is too smart, beautiful, strong of a woman to ever be putting herself last in her own life, okay? And Dr. Skye, just as another man, you know what I'm saying? I want you to level up in your relationship walk. I need you to understand that you can't play these childish games with this woman. You have kids at stake. You have a home at stake. You have businesses at stake. You have money at stake. This is not the time to be playing around and lying about a life coach, okay? It is not. If you messed up, say that, okay? If there was something going on that shouldn't have been going on and that was inappropriate, say it, okay? You cannot heal what you don't reveal. So go ahead and I'm not saying you got to reveal it to us, and they may have revealed it to each other, but whatever the case may be, we, the audience, can sense that there is something missing that is not being said, and we don't know everything. And granted, that's fine. It's a reality show. You ain't got to show us all parts of your life. I get it. But when y'all addressing these issues in front of us and y'all making us, now we a part of it, okay? We are invested. You're going to have to either give us the whole truth, nothing but the truth, or not at all, okay? Because we can see that there's a chunk of the pie that's missing. You can't bring us out a piece of pie, a piece of pizza, and then somebody take a triangle out, and then you try to make it seem like it's a pizza. I know you took a piece out, okay? I know you took a slice of this pizza out. We can see it, okay? And I just want them to be happy, whether that's together or not. I really do. We talk about these people and that we know that they're on reality TV shows, but I also know that they're real people. And with this show and specifically, this is a real marriage. And I really hope that they can figure it out or move on separately and be happy, because this cannot continue. It cannot. Okay? It cannot. It cannot. Having said that, that is our recap for Married to Medicine, Season 8, Reunion Part 2, okay? Next week, we got the reunion finale. Okay. So we're going to definitely be talking about that. And then I may do a video on where I think we're going to go next season. If you guys would be interested in that. Otherwise, y'all, I'm about to lose my voice because I feel like I've been talking all day. So y'all know I'm about to dip and go eat my lunch. Okay. But having said all that, listen, y'all know what I always tell y'all. If nobody told you today, I love you. Normalize telling people that you love them. Okay. Tell somebody else, spread the love around, and I'm going to catch you guys in the next video.